We've got surging NL West teams. We have FAAB results. We have some struggling big name rookies all coming up next on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. Happy Sunday night, everybody. Welcome to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. I'm Scott Jenstad, joined as always on Sunday nights by Jeff Erickson. If you could please rate and review the podcast, that would greatly be appreciated. If you enjoy listening to us, could leave a bunch of stars. That would be a very good thing. Jeff, happy Easter to you and the family. How's everything down there in LA? As I am not there at the moment.
Yeah, you're up north.
I am.
Nice, and you got to see the Warriors, so that was cool.
I did.
We're good here. We got to go see Hunter Green pitch last night, so that was fun. Had a good Easter with the family today.
Nice.
And tried to catch as much baseball in between.
Green set a record for the most 100-mile-an-hour pitches in one game, right?
Yeah, it was like 39 out of his 80, and it was like an easy 100. Yeah. That's the thing. It's just that's the thing that's so remarkable about it. He follows up, 101 with 87 mile-an-hour change, but it's tough. It was really he lived up to the billing. He wore down a little bit in the sixth inning. Trey Turner got him. Cody Bellinger pulled a 101 mile-an-hour fastball to right field. Nailed it for one of his two hits. Bellinger is looking a little bit more on track, so that was cool to see. Votto robbed him of a hit later in the game, but
I was hoping you could wake up Mookie Betts while you were there.
Mookie Betts didn't even play yesterday. He was
out. Hard to wake him up then. That's too bad. Yeah, it's been a little quiet. The Dodgers had 9 runs today, and Mookie and Trey had 0 hits. So that's not exactly what you want when you have them. But
but you can't complain about Trey. Today was his first bad day.
Yeah, Trey's been really good. Mookie's been pretty quiet, but we're 10 days in. We're talking a lot about that. We're talking a lot about some slow starters, some hot starters. How little results we really do have in. I mean, we're talking about hot starters with starters that they have 2 starts and 1 bad start causes a problem. So it's a small sample, but we got to talk about some stuff. We got some real stuff. We got a lot of active FAAB results in my league. There was a lot of bidding that was going on. So let's talk about week 3 coming up a little bit. We got a big week. We have 12 teams with 7 games. The schedules I looked at that I really liked. The A's are home for 4 against Baltimore, 3 against Texas. Pretty good matchups there. The Cubs get 7 this week, 3 against Tampa, then 4 against Pittsburgh. Always love to face those Pittsburgh starters. And then we always talk about Colorado. Philly is in 3 at Colorado, 3 against Milwaukee. A pretty good setup there. Those are the 3 that kind of jumped out to me as like, give me all the offense in those matchups.
Yeah, for sure. And, it's give me in the case of the A's, give me the some starting pitching. I found myself bidding on Cole Irvin in place as Paul Blackburn. Hey, it's the year 2022, and I'm still bidding on Paul Blackburn. He's added velocity, and I'm buying in. I don't know. Is that a bad idea?
I don't know. I was outbid on him. So we're at the point where I'm in 2022 where I'm getting outbid on Paul Blackburn. I got outbid on Irvin, Blackburn, and I think Dalton Jeffries too. Like, it's funny. We talked early in the year, the A's are selling everybody off, but they always have some pitchers. They always have some guys that, in that park. It's a fun 2-start week. We've got some we got Luzardo with 2 this week. We have Tyler McGill. We have Alex Cobb. So some of these up and coming kind of helium guys that were in drafts late in season or they've started well are pitching twice this week. We're going to really tell this week if if those guys are really ramping it up this year, or maybe those first 2 starts were a little bit of fool's gold. But there's some big 2-start pitchers this week. We didn't really have that last week with a lot of 4 and 5 starts going. But this is a big week for starters.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a mistake to assume all as well in terms of the depth of games. I think we're still going to see some 4 and 5s this week.
I do too.
So buyer beware a little bit. At the same time, I'm just trying to find some skills too, and hopefully that these guys translate into guys that we're going to hold on to for more than just a week or 2. It's that they're people we want to roster.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at kind of where we are in standings and stuff, and obviously we're 9-10 games in, but the AL Central has 3 teams that have scored under 30 runs, which seems pretty wild. Like, if you're looking for some matchups, there's some spots in the AL Central you can attack. The Rangers, Jeff, 2-7, coming off all their spending spree, has not started well there in Texas.
No, they haven't. They're not the worst team in baseball because our Reds.
I was not going there, Jeff. I know the Reds are 2-8. It's been rough.
Ever since Phil Castellini opened his yapper and said, "Where else are the fans going to go?" Well, this is what happens. You just invite all the bad karma, all the juju. I'm not rooting against.
You never win another game, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and the thing is, I like the players. I want to root for the players. I want to root. at the same time, I want the owner and the scion of the owner to feel a little bit of pain after that. It's just it's just such an unforced error.
Yeah.
Just
it's funny you say
no
that.
comment.
We had that same conversation this weekend about the A's. Like I like the players. I want to root for them. And, they played well in Tampa this week and then got lost 2 out of 3 to Toronto. But it's so hard for me because I don't want good things from the owner. I don't want the good things of the president. So it's hard to kind of figure that out. I still root for them and all that, but it's a little bit painful. It's hard to you'd hate to see that owner win a championship or something like that. It's a weird little world that we're both in right now.
Yeah, it is. It is. All will be forgiven if we do win it all, though. But
of course, that's
see also Bengals. I mean,
that's the way
as an example of that.
Yeah, you're in a good spot there.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We talked last year a lot about the Giants and Dodgers, and we're picking right back up. They're both 7-2, the 2 best records in baseball. So the more things change, I guess they stay the same.
Yeah, and the Padres had a pretty good weekend against the Braves too. So and the Braves, they're going to get Acuna back, but to me, it's the pitching. That's the thing that kind of jumps out at me is like, oh, they're not all the way back here yet. And Charlie Morton got cuffed around. That didn't look so good. That's a pretty good Padres lineup, so I understand. But at the same time, not a great start for the Braves. It's still way early. They were way behind. Remember, they needed to come back last year.
Yeah,
and they did.
They only won 85 or something games, right?
Yeah, and it took a pretty big rally the last 2 months of the season to do that there.
Get hot at the right time, I suppose, is always a good thing. We won't address your Reds, who are 2-8 and obviously struggling out the gate. But it's just interesting that we talked so much about Giants and Dodgers last year, and here we are, same kind of spot. The Mets look really good at 7-3. And they're plus 26 run differential. The Mets actually have had a really good start to the season.
Yeah, they did. Really good homestand. You like that if you're the Mets fans, you like seeing that. I think homestand. They've had 3 games at home, but they're 2-1. So that worked out. It was a good weekend against the Diamondbacks. Did lose on Saturday, but still, they are crushing. And meanwhile, their opposition struggling. The Phillies are really struggling.
Yep.
Aaron Nola has been hit hard. Hit hard once and kind of wore down in his first start, and then Zach Wheeler got crushed today.
Yeah, and he was down like 2.5 miles per hour on his fastball, and there was a Philly beat writer, I wish I could think of his name, that actually said there couldn't be more red flags after watching his start. It was a really bad sounding tweet that Wheeler did not look good, and he started slow, so maybe he's ramping up, but in the back of your head you just wonder about those shoulder issues he had in December and January, and wondering if he's fully healthy.
Yeah, and the way that story evolved was interesting because it started as when the news came out, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, he's way behind, and then, he's not really that far behind, and we're going to ramp him up. He'll make up some time. I mean, maybe they should have taken a little bit more time. They should have gone the Luis Castillo approach, except they have aspirations to win. They have we've talked about this before. It's a weirdly constructed roster.
Yeah.
And they're not making all the pieces fit right now.
Yeah, the Alec Boehm thing is strange because he obviously had that really rough outing at third base where he made the 2 errors and could have been a third, and then he had the expletive about how much he likes playing in Philly.
Yes,
and then did, to the fans' credit, he owned it after the game. He's like, I shouldn't have said it. I said it. I was pissed off at the time. I was frustrated. Fans gave him a standing ovation the next day, but he's just not playing. He's hitting 700 right now, Jeff, and he's not. They can't put him out there because they don't have a position for him. They have Schwarber, they have Castellanos. They don't have a position. They can't DH him. And I don't think they can afford to put him at third base. When Gene Segura comes back this week, I don't know what they do with Boehm. He's mashing, 10 at-bats, mashing. But
Segura played today.
Oh, and Boehm didn't again, right?
Yep, correct.
Yeah, Bryson Stott is struggling at the plate, but playing a bunch. They're playing Camargo. They're finding ways to not play Boehm at third, which I get. But
right
at some point, you gotta. I don't know. Do you send him down? Do you trade him? Do you just put him at third and deal with the defense? I don't know what they're going to do here.
I don't know either, but
it was a third overall pick. This is a high pedigree guy who's looked really good at the plate so far.
Yeah, and now you have him right in the Vegas main.
I do. I held him for a week, despite the fact that every player on my team has a little red suitcase next to him. I held him anyway. They're at Coors this week. I think I'm gonna hold him one more week. If he plays once or twice this week, I'm gonna have to dump him. But just hitting so well, I decided to hold him one week, mostly because there was not a lot of offense out there on the free agent wire this week. There was not a lot I really was excited about, so I just figured I'm trying to be patient and hold him for one more week.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Bryson Stott didn't play today either.
Yeah,
it was Johan Camargo getting the start at third base.
I mean, they're forcing
just what you like, just what you want to see, right?
Right. I get it if it's for Stott, right? Like, I get it. He's a prospect. He mashed in spring training, but like, you're taking Bohm out for Johan Camargo. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I get the defense is bad, but like, you got to either play him or figure out a way to figure out the situation, because there's no solution at the moment. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah, it's who could have seen this coming? It's so crazy.
Yeah, we had no idea their defense was going to be bad. But let's get into FAAB. Let's get into we had a lot of injuries this weekend. Most of them on my main event teams, which has not been the best.
A lot of pitchers going down all over the place.
I was at the Warriors game, and I wasn't paying attention to baseball. I was there Saturday night, and like on my phone, I saw a message. 2 of my guys won the DL. And Trevor Rogers gave up 100 runs in an inning and a third or whatever it was. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna turn my phone off and watch basketball instead. So it was a good night to shut down the baseball. But let's jump into FAAB. I think the biggest name on the pitching side, it seemed like it was mostly pitching this week. The 2 biggest names actually were Mackenzie Gore, who got dropped in some leagues prior, so he's available in some 15ers, a lot of 12s is available, and Kyle Wright, 2 guys that were pretty big prospects. Let's start with Gore. He's the 3rd overall pick in 2017. With Blake Snell and Mike Clevenger's injuries, Gore is kind of is starting. He's going to make at least one more start. I think it's pretty safe to say that Snell and Clevenger are far from, like, once they come back, they're healthy the rest of the way. I don't know what we're going to get from Clevenger. Even Bob Melvin was like, yeah, we kind of slow this down and get him going. But were you in on Gore? Was he available in your mains? How aggressive were you? Where did you kind of come on what we see here to a big predicate prospect?
He wasn't available in my mains, and I don't think he was available in yogurt either. No, he was available in yogurt. I take that back. I lied once again.
That's funny every time, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
I love it. It's so good.
It's just everybody, people know. TGFBI.
Of all your bits, it might be my favorite one.
Oh, thank you. He went for 157 with a runner-up bid of 53, so he went for a decent amount. He was also available in mixed labor, which I put a bid in on him for there. And the thing is, I think I held on to him in one of my 12s actually this whole time. So,
oh, nice. All right.
Yay. Yeah. My 12s aren't doing so well, but at least I beat the system there. So I got that going for me.
He was available in one of my mains. He was dropped. He went for 179. I kind of went back and forth. I could use a pitcher there, but I wasn't super desperate. I went 113. I was the backup bid. My bid was I'd love to get him for this price, but I don't think I will. So I was good with it, but I wasn't going to 180. So not too much sleep I can leave for that one, but not the biggest bid in my online Vegas league, Jeff. Matt Manning went for 475. Do you want to guess the runner-up?
He got hurt, right? People know this.
It had to be a 47 that put a 5 on the end. It had to be a misclick.
But why? Why 47? He got hurt.
Yeah, if it was like
for a 5th starter.
If it was 471, at least there's a 1 in there, I could justify it. But 475, like, there's no low numbers in there, so it's no backup bid on that one. Unfortunately, that was a rough one.
Oh, that's Danny Manning. No, Matt.
Danny Manning would be a good one. I like that one. Yeah. No rough there, but how do you feel about Gore? I mean, obviously, he's a big prospect and kind of struggled a little bit last year, and we kind of expect a lot, but now he's up. Pitched pretty well in his first start. How do you feel about him kind of going forward if he manages to stick in the rotation?
Is he up for good though?
I don't know. It depends on.
They still have Clevenger and Snell coming back.
Yeah, he's up for this week. But I mean, if he were to stick and something like Clevenger has a setback, is this a guy that you think is a third best starter in a team kind of thing? Like, where do you think he falls in?
I mean, he could be on a good team in a great ballpark. It's get
great
it.
Situation. Yeah.
I just checked in labor. My keep him honest bid was nowhere close to being honest. He went for 29 out of 100 with no $0 bids and no trading of FAAB, which Tim McLeod is big on the prospect, so I'm not surprised he won it.
That's 29%, so that's more than even the price I was talking about in NFBC.
Yeah, exactly. I like him. I like what he did. Enough that I took him in my last 12-teamer on the basis of news of that, but otherwise, no. I mean, I just think that's a little high. But then again, this is what we say every year in April. Oh, I think this is a little high. Oh, this is a little high.
And we talk about all the guys that I get outbid on, which is a normal, April thing, which I'm kind of used to, and I'm kind of okay with. I'm not one that's going to bid on the huge starter. But what do you do with that with Kyle Wright? Kyle Wright was someone that It was a 5th overall pick in 2017, pretty hyped coming into, I think it was 2020 or 2019, one of the two, but like, and struggled, was not good in the majors, gave up a lot of runs, but has looked really good in his 2 starts so far. He's 35% K rate. Obviously, we're not going to get that for the season, but looks really good. 1.6 ERA through his 11 innings, really low walk rate. In 2021 in AAA, he was pretty good. 3.02 ERA, 1.18 whip in 137 innings. I watched his first start and part of his second start. It seems like the curveball or kind of slurvy thing he throws is really sharp and really good right now. I'm excited about Kyle Wright. I think he may have kind of taken that step up. It might be here to stay.
Yeah, he just wasn't available this week. Last week, he was available in one of my 2 mains. He went for 117. And the other main, he went in week 0 that Sunday before the season started. He went for 4 unopposed.
You're going to tell me it's someone that's smart that picked him up, right?
No, yes, it was. By definition, they were smart, but it wasn't someone known.
I thought you were going to drop a Casey Char or John Posma on me or something.
Posma did the Josh Lowe unopposed in week 0. So
hasn't gotten a hit since then, so that's a problem.
Yeah. Still, it was he didn't pay much for him.
Yeah, smart considering what he went to the week after. But
he's order of magnitude cheaper.
Yeah, I drafted Kyle Wright in my second main. I didn't start him this week. I regretted that, but I eased him in a little bit. I used him the first week against your Reds. Sorry for the disrespect there, but pitched well in that game.
Do it. License to stream, dude.
Yeah, license stream against the A's also. So we're even there. But speaking of the A's, you mentioned Paul Blackburn. Cole Irvin pitches twice this week at home. Dalton Jeffries has pitched well. Were you in on any of these? I know you said you ended up with Blackburn. How much did you end up paying for him?
No, I didn't. I was
did not.
bidding
on
him.
Bet on him. Okay.
He was in my waterfall, as James Anderson uses that term. So I'm stealing that now.
I like it.
I think I might have got him in tout though. Let me double check there. In AL only tout wars, I think I might have gotten Blackburn. But
while you're looking that up, just to show you the craziness we have in different leagues, he went for $3 in one of my main. He went for $86 in the other. So good luck trying to figure out bids week to week, especially in April.
Yeah, for sure. No, I did not get Blackburn. I got outbid on him. I got Ryan Stanek instead, but
possible week of saves for the Astros. And
Neris was already taking it. Keep in mind it's an AL only, but probably not even. But okay, so enough sidebarring here.
How do you feel about these 3 A's pitchers that have kind of started out pretty well?
So there's news on Blackburn. He added velocity.
Yep,
that's a good thing. Cole Irvin, I think he changed his pitch mix a little bit. Maybe added velocity too, correct?
I think his velocity is about the same when I looked.
Okay, so that was a lie. But he does get 2 starts this week, and one of them is against Baltimore, the other is against Texas. Those are good starts.
Both at home.
Yeah. Where the RAs are just going to pack them in. There's going to
it's going to be after opening night. There are going to be some brutal crowds this week.
I even think on opening night it's going to be pretty bad, relatively speaking. Because why would you? I mean, if there's one fan base that's been crapped on more than the Reds, and that's the A's. Maybe the Pirates. Pirates have entered the chat too, but
I feel like the A's have kind of been taunted by their front.
It's the worst.
I think there's a little more of vitriol there than there is in some of the other places. I did lie. Irvin's up a little bit. He's up 0.7 miles per hour, so he's up. He's up a little bit. I did. Right, I lie all the time, but he's up a little bit. He's throwing more sliders. He looks good. He actually added a cutter. I think is the big difference there. He's throwing that about 11% of the time, so he looks like a different guy. You're never going to get strikeouts out of him, but I think it's a stream play. It's a home park play when they're not facing, someone really good on offense. I think you can play him at home. I bid on him too, but it was the price was a little rich for me too. I got outbid on him also.
Yeah. Jeffries, I was not bidding on because the Ks are so low.
Yeah.
And, historically he's been very fragile too. So, if he's a stream and if I'm not getting strikeouts from the stream, why am I doing this?
No, I agree there. I think that you have to have the 2 starts if you're going to do it like you did with Irvin this week. You're not getting strikeouts, but you do get the 2 starts, maybe get some wins there. But A little sexier in Pittsburgh. Rosie Contreras had a good outing this week. Seems like they're trying to stretch him out. You actually mentioned him in our preseason, one of our preseason podcasts about like guys after 300 that you really were taking a look at that you liked, and that's looking pretty good. His 3 innings looked really good. 5 strikeouts, no earned runs. Struggled a little bit in his first outing, but looked really good in the second one. This is a guy that was a monster in 2021 in Double-A. 54 innings, 35% K rate, 15% swing strike rate. Like those are some big strikeout numbers. They can get this guy to 5 innings. Like this is someone that if you pick up now, could really yield some benefits later. You probably not get wins in Pittsburgh, but Contreras looks like a really super live arm.
Yeah, primary haul in the Tyon trade, or at least I don't know about the primary, but at least the first to get there and do something about it. So you like seeing that. They sent him down the day of the first live main that we did.
That's
on
right.
the 26th during the draft, like during the end game portion too. And I heard about it and stayed away from him because of that. And now I don't get no coke then because he, someone else has him. Or he got picked up in some leagues. He was still, and in my second main, he was a pickup this week, and I did not get on in that. But again, it's okay. I actually got picked up in both mains this week. One of those was to replace John Means for his poor owner. So yeah.
I see Anthony Gialdi asked in the chat, can we get some love from Oakland slugger Tony Kemp yet? When Tony Kemp was brought up in the preseason, I mentioned that he has a career eight barrels. His career is still at 8 barrels, so I'm going to go ahead with no love for Tony Kemp. But yeah, your 3.7% hard hit rate is really impressing me so far this year.
Sick burn, dude. Sick burn, bro. Why do you have to hate on Tony Kemp like that? What has he ever done to you?
I think Tony Kemp is a great dude. I just don't love him as a fantasy player.
No, I hear you.
Yeah. Justin Steele in Chicago, someone that was added also. He's pitched pretty well his first couple starts, 2 earned runs across 9 1/3. His velocity is actually down a little bit, but he was okay last year. He was a 4.26 ERA guy in 57 innings. Any Justin Steele love off the 2 pretty good starts to open the year?
Yeah, I got him in labor. I've been on him elsewhere. So I got tipped off by Sarah Sanchez on the Thursday podcast. Right. She runs, Cup of Cubby Blue and Bleed Cubby Blue podcast, and it was just all things Cubs. She goes, and she even thought that he wouldn't do that badly in Coors. He didn't do that badly in Coors. Todd Zola weighed in and said that that Steele ditched this. I think ditched the curve for the slider, and generally added some velocity and is more interesting pitcher now. Todd was bidding on him everywhere. I did bid on him in some places. Wasn't my primary option, but I did get him in at least one league.
And 2 starts this week. The first one's against Tampa, a little scary, but the second one's home against Pittsburgh, and that's one you definitely want on your roster right there.
Yeah, Tampa finally woke up today, but and where is that game? Is that in Chicago?
It's in Chicago. It's in Chicago. They're both home starts.
So they're staying in Tampa's staying in Chicago, doing the White Sox.
Oh, that's right.
Cubs combo there.
Yep.
It would look really cold in Chicago today.
Really I saw it was like 29 degrees in Cleveland. So yeah, I imagine that transferred over to Chicago too. The Giants were playing Chicago, so my family here is all Giants fans, so they're watching that game. It's 29 degrees. It looked really cold out there.
Yeah, looked miserable.
Yeah, that's cold for baseball. Last guy, since we're talking about the A's, Chad Pinder is someone that is looked good. He's 2021, he only played 75 games, only hit 6 home runs. But if you look a little deeper, the hard contact stuff was great. He had 16% barrel rate, squares up a lot of balls. Has started out pretty well in terms with 2 home runs and a stolen base. I think the key here is in a deeper league, Pinder's playing every day. He's hitting. He led off a couple times, hit middle of the lineup. I know the A's offense is not good, but still a lot of at bats. Should play a lot. Hard hit rates kind of transferred over this year, 52%, 14% barrel rate. So I think if you need at bats, I think that Pinder is someone that you can throw in there and maybe as your 6th outfielder that really will help you out.
Yeah, it seems like he's kind of like one of those guys, the hitting equivalent of David Bush, where the leading indicators outpace the actual production.
That was a great David Bush poll right there. I remember he was like every year was going to be the guy because of the metrics and just never was. Yeah.
David Bush is a major league pitching coach now, by the way.
Oh, for who?
Oh God, now I knew you were going to quiz me on that.
I shouldn't ask.
No, I got
the way you said it, man. It felt like you knew what you were talking about.
I heard it. I heard it like on a broadcast, and I was like, "Oh, David Bush is a pitching coach now." He is the pitching coach for the Boston Red Sox.
Oh, wow, a big job too.
Yes, and so Good for him. It's
Absolutely.
like when I heard Mark Pryor was a pitching coach, that was like you're old moment. Now David Bush being one is even crazier.
Mine was Andrew Bailey being the Giants pitching coach.
Yeah,
I remember when he was like rookie of the year with the A's, and now he's Giants pitching coach, and everybody the Giants touched turned to gold. So apparently Bailey knows what the heck he's doing. Really nice guy too. I actually met him and his wife once at Dave & Buster's, and they were super nice and friendly. So
nice.
I've always been a big Andrew Bailey fan, just from like that 4 minutes of interaction. It's always
I'll tell you what, that's huge.
It matters.
It does matter a lot. I know it's tough on these players when they're always asked to be on.
Of course,
and the thing is that you get one chance with that player. So if he's not on that day, if he doesn't seem like he's into it, like I was talking with someone the other day, got a chance to meet Landon Donovan at one of those like meet the fans things, and he clearly wanted to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
But when you get demands on your time like that, it's
hard.
I get it. It's hard to be on every time, but then again, that's the life they've chosen too.
And and I've seen it. There's there's people hanging out in the lobby in the hotel, and if you had a bad night, like that's got to be tough to be on and friendly all the time. But when they are, it makes a big impact.
It does. It really does. So very cool for him.
I want to talk about a couple of relievers real quick. Kind of some reliever roulette here in the FAAB market. But first, a note from our sponsor, Better Edge. Bet against others with no fees involved. That's right. No pesky hidden fees to ruin your day. Better Edge is a social betting marketplace where there's no fee on each transaction. Better Edge is a social betting marketplace, and chances are it's legal in your state. We bring betting back to its social roots where you can like, comment, and challenge other users all within the app. Play without getting played at Better Edge. Go to betteredge.com. That's BETTOREDGE.com to sign up today. So, Jeff, I think we're gonna have reliever roulette kind of every week this year in FAAB. It seems like we have so much going on. We have injuries. We have guys losing jobs. This week we had Hector Neris, as I think you said is the way I used to say Hector Neris. I think it's Neris. You mentioned Ryan Stanek. There's going to be a closer with Ryan Presley out. It sounds like he's not going to miss a long amount of time. It sounds like if it was later in the year, he probably would pitch through the knee inflammation, but they're going to go ahead and kind of calm that down now. But obviously, you never know how long it's going to last. We've got Hansel Robles in Boston. We have Emilio Pagan, maybe in Minnesota. Looked like he was lined up for that save the other night. That the way they lined up, Duran pitched earlier, and it was going to be Pagan. We got Jorge Lopez in Baltimore, who I don't think anybody thinks is a great pitcher, but had the last save and may have the job there. Were any of these guys higher or lower than you on the pecking order this week? Did you need saves? How are you doing in the closer market? Because I have Ryan Presley in one of my mains, and it's not a good place to be when you kind of took one anchor and you kind of build around that. When the anchor goes away, it gets ugly pretty quick. Yeah,
I can top that.
Oh boy.
And the online main, not the live main, we knew saves were our weak spot. Scott Barlow is our top reliever.
Oh,
I didn't say closer.
Yeah,
it was fireman.
Well said. Yep.
Yeah. We drafted Neris, but wait, there's more. We cut him last week.
Mm.
I have so many regrets for cutting him.
And Presley looked good, and even with velocity down, he was like getting the saves, and clearly was the guy, and they were using him that way. And that's tough.
We had another cut too. That's the thing that's really even worse about it. So you got outbid on.
I was gonna say, did you get him back? And the answer is no.
No, we bid about 75 because it could be just for a week.
It could.
But we got Stalmont, so now we have both Barlow and Stalmont. Okay. But the problem is, I have to have both active to really matter.
I know, and Stalmont looked really good with that save he converted the other night, so he looked really good. So
but Barlow's looked good too, except in games where he does not face Stephen Kwan, Scott Barlow looks very good.
Right.
Kwan is 0 for his last 11, by the way, or at least he was going into today.
I think we knew that was coming at some point.
Yeah. Well,
baseball's hard, by the way.
Yeah, and not facing the Royals and Reds also tends to hurt. You tend to backslide a little bit after that.
I kind of like Pagan a little bit. I'd like the way that they lined that up the other game where Duran did come in earlier. I think the concern was like Duran pitched that ninth inning and was like, oh, here we go. Mm-hmm. Then he jumped back and pitched earlier and actually gave up a home run to Rafael Devers. It was actually kind of a really good pitch. That was just one of those things that Rafael Devers is really, really good, and more than Duran made any mistakes. And then Duran came back and struck out Bogaerts and Martinez. So I'd love to see that from a young pitcher that gives up that home run and punches out two veteran studs. But
that was the second inning of work, right?
Yeah, it was. The first inning was good, and then the second inning he got the run.
And forgive me for lack of attribution again, but I saw a note suggesting that this is twice now where in the second inning there's some degradation of stuff.
Okay.
And so as much as you want to make him a 2-inning guy, make that a thing.
Right.
Maybe he's not that. And that actually bodes well for him being a closer at some point too, by the way.
It does. If he can come in for one inning and just gas everybody, that's a good thing. I don't know. I mean, that situation, it could be Tyler Duffy next. It could be Duran in the ninth next. Who knows? But what about in Boston? We got Robles getting a save this week. There was Jake Diekman had that Sunday night save. Who knows where Matt Barnes is at this point with his health. They're obviously a good team that can win a bunch of games, and you'd love to get those saves. It seems like they don't really have a guy they're locking into. I think it'd be Robles if I had to pick someone right now, though.
Yeah. I don't have a strong take.
Yeah.
I don't. I think it's Robles, kind of, but I think it's Barnes eventually.
Yeah.
And because they want to get that length out of Whitlock, and he showed the other day that he can provide that too. So it's not a really stretch, but God, I want to see more Whitlock, and it's just so wild that such a high payroll team has such a obvious blatant Achilles heel.
And Whitlock had a 4-inning saver this week, right? That was pretty impressive too.
I think it was a 4-inning win.
Oh, I thought he had saved it. Was it a win? Okay.
It's a piggyback off of Rich Hill, and I think he got the win on that.
There you go. Either way, 4-inning kind of shut down the game, pitched really well
against
there.
The Tigers,
It's tough. Like you kind of get frustrated talking about these closers, but then you look up and it pays off. I mean, if you picked up Daniel Bard, that's 4 saves he's had in the last 10 days, and even bad teams. The Rockies are 6-3. Bad teams have stretches where they win, 7 out of 10 games. It happens in baseball. Getting these 3-4 save stretches are going to be really big in a season where, you may have that anchor, but you're going to need to build, you're going to need to find those, 30 to whatever saves around that anchor. And, getting 4 in 10 days from someone like Daniel Bard is just massive.
Bard and David Robertson, that whole series, there's 7 combined saves. Although Givens got the save on Friday. So
Robertson did today, right?
Yeah, Robertson did on Sunday, and I think Robertson's still the main guy. But it was interesting that Givens got that opportunity, the first opportunity, because it wasn't like Robertson's been heavily used. I think he's pitched in 4 games this year, and the last one was on Tuesday, and then he pitches again on Sunday. Man, I don't know if they're treating him with kid gloves, or maybe it's like Givens pitched for the Rockies last year, so they want to give him a chance against the Rockies, maybe it's a swing playing thing. Maybe the Cubs are way more analytical than I'm giving them credit. In fact, I know they're way more analytical than I'm giving them credit. I know that maybe it is just that.
Yeah, it's just one of those things you have to follow. Ryan Roof is doing a closer column on the site at RotoWire that's really good, and wherever you want to get your closer stuff. That's one of those things you got to follow really close. You got to follow usage closely. It can be difficult at times to kind of stick on top of it, but grabbing that guy, before that 2 or 3 save week is going to be really big this year.
It is. It really is. We don't know the Rangers yet.
No. Spencer Patton looked pretty good in his last outing, but
in the 5th inning though?
Oh, probably
today.
Was,
It was today, I think.
The one I was thinking of, I think, was Friday night. I think he had 3 strikeouts, but we have no clue who's closing the next game there. That's a wide open one.
Yeah, but it's looking at today's box score. He came in the 5th inning, pitched. In a game they were behind, by the way.
I mean, that's usage that makes me think he's nowhere close either, right?
Right, and he got sent down. Remember too at one point. So we drafted and now since have dropped. So here's your heads up though. The same league where we dropped Nerys, we dropped Patton this week. So
expect 2 saves this week.
Go get them, Tigers. Yeah. Go get them.
Speaking of injuries, let's kind of fire through some of those. We got a lot of big name injuries this week. We kind of joked last week about how there weren't a lot of big injuries yet, but they certainly came this week. On the positive side, a couple of guys here. Ronald Lacuna starting a rehab assignment on Tuesday. So if you added him, if you drafted him and you were taking the shot that he's gonna come back early, that's a pretty good sign that he's kind of ramping it up a little bit there. Byron Buxton was the big injury on Friday. He slid into second, slammed his hand on the ground, like, oh, here we go. This is something serious. You rarely see a reaction like that and nothing serious, but it sounds like they have not put him on the IL. It sounds like they're avoiding the IL with him. It seems like he's probably okay. How do you feel about Buxton?
I hope he's okay.
I do too, because he's so damn good.
I think it's going to be really frustrating this week to make a decision. He's not going to play. Remember, they play the Patriots Day game, so it's 8 a.m. Best Coast time, 11 a.m. Yeah. So, by the way, personal hate of that game, because especially in some leagues where it locks the entire roster. Score sheet leagues, it does that. I've got a Yahoo league like that I've appealed to my commissioner every year. make it so it's just that team that starts that you have to lock. But no, we have to set up our whole roster.
Right.
It's so super frustrating.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, that's a good note. There is an 8 a.m. Yes, I'm not lying about the 8 a.m. Pacific game tomorrow with the Twins and the Red Sox. So getting the worst stuff. We mentioned Ryan Presley, IL with right knee inflammation. It sounds fairly minor. Obviously, as someone who has him in the main event, I hope I'm optimistic there. But you want to see him back on the mound before you get too excited about the diagnosis there. Javi Baez went on the 10-day IL with a thumb injury. I hate thumb injuries for hitters, so it's a tough one there.
It is, and he was day to day for a while, and then they finally put him on the IL and. A little late on Friday, if I recall. Maybe it's just because I got offline for a while. But anyhow, like that, had to make that decision. Could have made the wrong one there.
Yeah, similar to Ryan Presley, Sonny Gray won on the IL, but it sounds pretty minor. He was a super minor hamstring strain, but with a pitcher, I think they're playing it safe, and I don't believe it either. Like they say it's gonna be one start. I'll figure it out next Sunday if I can use him next week, but I'm not expecting him to be only 10 days, but hopefully it's, it seems pretty minor, but hopefully we're good there. I want to ask you about Hinjin Ryu. He went on the IL with left forearm inflammation. Pretty much the worst thing you want to hear about pitchers is forearm, anything. It always ends up being bad. Do you keep Hinjin Ryu with the struggles and the injury, or is he a drop for you? I guess I'll answer the question for a 12 or 15 teamer.
I think he's a cut in a 12 and a 15 teamer. It depends on what I need. But I posted this question on Twitter about Means and Shane Boz, both put in the 60-day IL this week.
I think I cut both of those.
I did cut both of those. I cut Boz and Yogurt, and Means I don't have, so I could justify that. Right. And then Ryu is someone that I think I was either benching or cutting. I think most of my Ryu shares are in draft and hold, so which is just a sea of red on one of my pitching stats in there. It's really ugly already.
Yeah,
and we're in April.
I know. 10 days in, it's crazy. Speaking of red on my team, Yordan Alvarez sounds like he's expected to return Monday. Sounds like he was really sick, but not COVID. But they expect him to return on Monday. He was at the ballpark today, feeling a little better. I have Teoscar Hernandez in that league also, so I need Yordan.
I saw your tweet on that.
Yeah. Oh, I was so excited about my 2-3 turn. Two fun guys to pair with Trey Turner, and boy, has it not worked well. But sounds like Alvarez is gonna be back on Monday. Obviously, I'm gonna check that lineup tomorrow. But it seems like we got some good news there at least.
Yeah, home opener for the Astros, off to a slow start. Seattle kind of did a number on them this weekend. Except for Verlander. Verlander took care of business. But,
the Astros are 5-4, but they have 31 runs scored in 9 games. You would not expect them to be a slow starting offense, but they definitely are so far.
Yeah, they are. But getting Alvarez back would tend to help matters as far as they go. Kyle Tucker, take a look at his numbers. Really awful start to the season there.
He had that 2-homer game early against Anaheim where they scored 100 runs in that game. It feels like that's the only game they really broke out in. But you're right. Tucker's at 129 with only those 2. Those are the only 2 runs scored he has all year too.
Yeah. It's pretty ugly so far.
Oh, geez. His BABIP was 0.87. I think that'll turn around a little bit, but wow, that's an ugly number.
It is. It's a pretty ugly number. And all throughout though, Altuve's 156. Yeah. Gurriel's hitting 167. Jason Castro's still waiting for his first hit. They played Aledmus Diaz today over Jeremy Pena. They need to get home. Bregman's hitting 233. Nobody's really doing anything. And no Yordan in the lineup. That tends to hurt matters too. So that's problematic for them. But they'll be all right.
Jeremy Pena has been really good.
Yeah, he has.
He's been the one guy that has been big for them.
So makes sense to give him a day then, right? Sorry.
Right. It's funny you mentioned that. Like there were a bunch of box scores they looked at. And I scrolled down. There's so many guys hitting under 200. I think we like the first couple of days we're like, oh, pitching's behind hitting. I tell you what, pitching's been way ahead of hitting so far. There are a lot of people really, really struggling.
Yeah, there are. There's just been a couple random big breakout games. Besides that, there's a lot of strugglers right now.
I mean, you look at like Kyle Schwarber's under 100. Miguel Sano, not surprised, but under 100. He got his first hit, finally hit a home run. But there's a lot of like Brendan Rodgers hitting 111. We're talking about some of the rookies later. Jared Kelenick's at 120. Like those are really rough starts.
Yeah. Kelnick, I thought maybe a Thursday game against the White Sox was the beginning of something good and new, and maybe not so much. You know what? Kelnick went 2 for 4 today, though.
There you go. So he went up from the 120. I'm looking at what the leaders are there. He's at he's at 172 now.
Julio, on the other hand, is
we're gonna get there. That's an interesting actually one that I think is
batting ninth now
and striking out over half his at bats too.
Yeah, what is it with Seattle prospects in their first taste there, huh?
I don't know. It's brutal. But speaking in the AL West, Mike Trout got hit by a pitch today in his hand. X-rays were negative. Sounds unlikely to play Monday, but it sounds like they avoided a bad one here. Although we always worry about that X-ray and then the MRI. Like I'm not in the clear until I see him in a game.
Right.
At least the first report was good.
Since when have we had an initially optimistic report on Trout that's turned really bad?
Yeah.
Since last year.
He's never missed a ton of time with an injury supposed to be like a week.
No. It's always it's always been a worst case scenario with him. And the problem is, again, you got to make that decision on Monday. He's not going to play Monday. In the FBC, I guess it's probably a little easier. You just bench him the first 4 days, I guess. But
because they don't play Thursday, so that's essentially a 2-game week, and it's against Houston. So it gets Framber and Odorizzi. Like, you'd hate to miss those, but I think I probably set him with the thought that 2 games is an absolute best case scenario.
Yep. Then he gets to go home against Baltimore. And
you sure want that series then.
Baltimore is pitching right now, Scott.
I know. Bruce Zimmerman was really good today against the Yankees. It was funny because Nestor Cortez was unreal, and he had 12 strikeouts in 5 innings. I looked up, and it was 0-0, and I was like, who the heck is pitching for Baltimore? It was Bruce Zimmerman.
Yep, and the Yankees remained at 0 the rest of the game.
Yeah, they did.
They're doing it without John Means, too, is the amazing thing, too.
I still want.
Oh, heck yeah!
I'm not going to buy it yet, but it was. It's been. They've had a good little stretch of pitching there.
But do you think the newly reconstructed Camden is now very much more pitcher friendly? Is that a thing?
When I looked, I haven't looked at this. I haven't looked to see it. I broke down yet. And, if there's a lot of balls been hit right there. But when I saw the dimensions and I saw the pictures of it, like it's a noticeable difference. It's a big thing. Like not only did the wall go up, but it went out, and it's big. And we watched enough games. Like there were so many balls hitting the first 5 rows at Camden in left field, like just yanked like line drives. Like that's not out in most parks. And there's a home run there. I think it has to make a difference.
It does. We'll see what happens when it warms up.
Yeah, for sure.
But the Yankees, they haven't really gotten completely on track yet offensively. So that'll be interesting to see what that.
I guess April's a tough month to hit, and I do get that, but there seems like it's a lot of struggles.
Sure.
Blake Snell is having a side session on Tuesday, so it sounds like he's kind of making a little bit of progress. We talked about Mackenzie Gore earlier, so that obviously affects that. Will Myers, also in San Diego, missed the last 3 games with a thumb injury. They said he was available off the bench on Sunday, kind of gave me a little bit of optimism there. Maybe he's not going to go on the IL, but that's someone that if you're counting on him next week, I'd certainly have a backup just in place, just in case Myers doesn't play the first game of the week, which is for San Diego on Monday against your Reds.
Yeah. Go Reds. Can't even muster too much enthusiasm.
I know you did go to one of the Reds games in LA this week. I take it you're not making a trek to Petco this week.
For our Padres, I probably should, but
for our Sean Manaea pitching on Monday too.
Yeah. Does that still hurt?
I wish good things for him, but seeing him pitch really well, it stings a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It does. But Padres got on track this weekend against the Braves. Although Kenley got the save, was it yesterday? Oh, did you see the ump show thing with Kenley?
So they gave him 3 more pitches, and then they wouldn't let him throw anymore because he was taking too much time or something. What exactly happened there?
I didn't see exactly, but that was the vibe.
I just saw the ump standing in his way though, would not let him throw a pitch, and I was like, Kenley, just let it go, man. He'll get out of the way.
God, just stop making yourself part of the game. Just stop.
They just can't. Lastly, your Reds, Jonathan India sat 3 in a row with a right hammy. Is he going to go on the IL? Do you think he's all right? What's your kind of feel?
They said the initial take was that no, it wasn't that bad, and he may even play this weekend. Well, didn't play this weekend. So again, late game on Monday night, you're going to have to make that decision probably earlier than you'd want to with him. But the thing is, too, it's like he gets to face Manaea and Gore. It's 2 lefties that you'd like to be. Not that they're easy lefties to face, but they are lefties. Right. So, yeah, I would probably bench him this week unless I got some like overwhelmingly positive update from him, and I don't see that coming.
It's kind of filtered. Someone asked in the chat, Luke Voigt or Matt Beatty. I would take Luke Voigt still.
Yeah, Voigt didn't play tonight, so that was weird.
Yeah, I still think you're gonna get a bunch of pop out of there as it warms up and we kind of get going here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about a few more things here at the end here. It's just some hot starters and cold starters. See if you kind of are feel that anybody's values change. But first, a note from our sponsors at Vivid Seats. Baseball is back. That's right. An entire glorious season, all 162 games. And with live events resuming, you can actually be there to catch all the action in person with Vivid Seats. Every backdoor slider, every round tripper, every doubleheader can be experienced live. And with Vivid Seats rewards, you can start earning free tickets from your very first purchase. Just buy, collect stamps, and redeem. It's that easy. From behind the dugout to upper level, Vivid Seats has you covered for all the games that matter to you. Pro tip, buy tickets for your whole group, split the bill, and make progress towards your free tickets even faster. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats. Life happens live.
And I did use Vivid Seats to get Dodger tickets this weekend. There's Dodger Reds tickets. So personal endorsement there.
Look at that synergy right there. That was well done. Beautiful. Where were you in the reserve or the Loge?
I was in the reserve. I was pretty high up.
I couldn't tell from behind you, like what was going on behind you. Were you like the top of the reserve?
I was like, row GG. I mean, I was up there. Yeah, I posted it also. I could see the parking lot pretty well from there. Let's just put it that way.
Was that really the traffic in the third inning coming in?
Yes, and it lasted till the fifth inning.
Saturday night Dodger Stadium
get a lot of worst.
Yeah, LA fans get a lot of heat, but man, there are times where it's impossible to get into that building.
Yeah, so put it this way. We were 20 minutes away from the stadium and we left about 2 hours beforehand.
Right.
And we got there in the second inning.
Did you really?
It was
that just Dodger Stadium traffic or was that 210 traffic?
No,
what happened?
It was all around Dodger Stadium and they just,
oh my gosh,
it's so poorly managed. And we tried a different route. Google Maps tried to take us in off of Sunset and which was actually, it worked getting out of there. Yeah, because there's a quicker egress out. Sunset's
pretty good for getting out, but it's that's brutal though.
Oh, it was so bad, Scott. And we're doing a left-hand turn to Vince Scully Drive. Don't ever do a left-hand turn into Vince Scully Drive. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Oh, that's rough. It just takes so much fun out of it though. Like if you got to leave 2 hours early and you get in a second inning, like that sucks.
Yeah, it was horrible. I felt like such a rookie, but it's like. I mean, I'm with my family too. It's not like
you're not going to leave 4 hours early to get there
and go watch batting practice. No, they don't want to watch batting practice.
Because the problem is you leave 4 hours early, you get there 3 hours early. There's no really perfect time to leave. It just it doesn't work there. It can be tough.
Yeah. So
I assume it was a packed house at least.
Yeah, it was 51,000 people there. So
that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it wasn't complete sellout, but it was pretty full. And the thing is, it was a quick game. It was 0-0 going into the I think sixth inning.
That was Urias on the other side, right?
Yeah, it was Urias and Hunter Green. Urias got yanked 5 after 5 at like 63 pitches. He's throwing 92, 93, which is lower than last year, but better than his first start. So
that seems like a low amount of pitches, though. I guess they're still ramping him up.
It was very weird. It was not like he had.
I was about to say they pitch hit for him, and I realized that question doesn't work anymore.
No, it doesn't. But it's not like he was laboring at any point.
Right.
I think maybe he had a walk and he had one hit allowed, and the hit was in the fifth. It wasn't like he gave up a rocket on that hit either. It was an interesting decision, but ultimately justified because the Reds can't hit out of a paper bag their way out of a paper bag.
Dave Roberts seems to find himself in the middle of interesting decisions sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, you didn't get a chance to weigh in.
Yep.
Do you want to weigh in on the Kershaw decision?
I would have taken him out 100%.
Same here.
Okay. I actually didn't know what your answer was before I said that. The way he finished last season, the way he didn't pick up a ball for 4 months, his words, like he didn't pick up a ball at all. First start, 80 pitches. If it had been 80 pitches through 8, I'd probably let him take a chance in the ninth, but there was no way he was throwing 2 more innings, so why bother with throwing the 1 more inning?
Right. He hadn't pitched 80 pitches since June.
Yeah.
Missed because of an arm injury. Yeah. Shortened spring training. Cold weather. Velocity was down in his last inning of work against the Twins in that game. He gave up a rocket on the last out.
He's not 23. Like it's just, I thought he made the right decision. I know people freaked out on Twitter.
I can't believe people freaked out that much.
I couldn't.
And are still freaking out.
considering who it was, the situation, and everything, I didn't even think it was that drastic of a bad call. Like I didn't think it was like that crazy a call. I don't know.
I know I would not have freaked out if he left him in because it's Kershaw in history and all that. Right. But I didn't think it was worth a freak out.
No, I didn't think either. It seemed very odd. It was, and then you get the like, oh, we'll see what happens with analytics. I'm like, it has nothing to do with analytics. It was 100%
common sense.
It was 100% on his health and his injury status and moving forward. It was not. There's no analytics decision that says you have to take somebody out. It's just people love to.
It wasn't even a pitch count thing. That's the thing that's so crazy.
And it wasn't a third time through the order thing. It was none of those like analytics things people freak out about. It was just the fact that he's been hurt. Hasn't been healthy. It was his first game. Like I didn't think it was that big a deal. And obviously everything is a big deal on Twitter and in the media, but.
Yep.
What do you do? So I want to talk about a few pitchers and a few hitters that are either started off hot or cold. The first two are Justin Verlander and Carlos Rodon, who both look fantastic. It's been vintage Verlander through 2 starts, 0.69 on the ERA and the WHIP. Always good when you get both of those under 1. 15 strikeouts, 3 walks, throwing 95. I think that if we were to draft today, Verlander, he would move even higher than he even did, but he looks great so far.
He has. And List was all over this early in draft. He's like, if the Astros, who were the only team that got to see him, basically, were willing to plunk down the amount of money that they did, granted for a 1-year deal, plus I think there's an option for next. Yeah. But hey, that's I don't want to appeal to authority all the time, but this seems like a pretty good time to appeal to authority, and he nailed that one.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the team dynamic because I think we had a lot of that with Carlos Rodon. Like the Giants are really smart.
Yeah,
Farhan is really smart, but it's like the White Sox didn't get him the qualifying offer. Like that's the team that you think would know, but you got to think the Giants felt pretty good about his medical. He's throwing like 99 right now. Like I saw him touch 98, 99 a couple pitches. I watched the game because we happened to be here in the Bay Area and it was on, and everybody in my family is watching the game. And he's got 21 strikeouts through 12 innings. His ERA, his WHIP's under 1. But like you just look eye test wise, and this dude looks like one of the best pitchers in baseball so far. He just looks nasty.
Yeah, and I'm not second guessing. I first guessed even at the time when they didn't offer the White Sox didn't offer the qualifying offer for Rodon. Blows my mind. I mean, what's the worst case scenario? He accepts and you get stuck on a 1-year deal, which it's almost impossible to have a bad 1-year deal unless
they fully thought that shoulder was just jacked up and not. It's the only thing I think of is they didn't trust the medical even a little bit to turn down the qualifying offer.
Right.
And a team that's trying to win and spend money too.
Yeah. And by the way, I know they couldn't have foreseen the injuries to Lynn and Giolito, but they have Vince Velasquez throwing games for them right now. They have Johnny Cueto about to throw games for them.
I have no idea how they haven't made an offer for Frankie Montas that's been accepted. Like, I just don't get it. I know there was like some rumors about Andrew Vaughn and them not wanting to include him, but like, I don't know if they want to win, you add Montas right there, they'd be really tough, and they need a pitcher badly.
Montas going back home.
Yeah, that's right. And he kind of struggled his first start, but looked much better the second start. But I'm hoping he sticks in Oakland for a while. But I have to think they're going to move him at some point too. So we kind of teased a little bit. Let's talk about the rookies. Like we had a lot of hype coming in. Like teams are finally starting these guys up. We've got Bobby Witt, Julio Rodriguez, and Josh Lowe in Tampa. Witt hitting 156 with no home runs. J-Rod's at 107 with no home runs. Lowe is at 125 with no home runs. I get it's early, but you look at the strikeout rates. Witt's at 33%. Lowe's at 38%. J-Rod's at 51.5%. He's got a 19.7% swinging strike rate. Like that is absurdly high. That's like Javi Baez high, but without the hard contact. Like it's just, oh, by the way, in all three of those guys, we got 0 barrels total. So it's not like they're hitting rockets into outs right now. What do you think teams do? How long are we patient here? How long are you patient in your fantasy lineup? I know these are 3 studs. They're going to hit at some point, but how do you kind of treat these fantasy-wise going forward, at least for this week that we're talking week 3?
It's a really tough call.
It is.
And it's a tough call for the teams. James Anderson was one thing he is all over this year was that AAA pitching was by a large measure down last year. And he wanted to discount the performance of a lot of these stud prospect hitters in AAA last year. And to that end was not, he didn't go after too many of the prospects. However, he did go get Julio Rodriguez at the 13th round before that, in between the 2 main weekends for the main event, before the Julio price went just silly numbers.
Yeah, before the 5th, 6th round Julio that we saw in a lot of drafts.
I think we saw him 1 3rd rounder too. Like I think we had pick 42. But
do you think they I mean, how much does it have to happen for them to send Julio back down?
You know, Alex Rodriguez got sent down in his rookie year. Multiple times, if I'm not mistaken. It happens. You can still have a great career. Sometimes you just need to get your confidence back up. It's not the end of the world.
And they sent Kelnick back down last year, right? So they've been willing to do it with guys who struggle. But how long is it? I mean, we're 10 days, so it's a bit absurd to break down all the stats. But at some point he's hitting the .07 and striking out half the time. You just wonder how long the leash is to playing every day until they're maybe you need a couple weeks to kind of just get your mind right and figure this out and come right back.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it when they have a viable alternative when Kyle Lewis is all the way back. I think that's a natural point to make that decision. I think it puts them on notice, at least, that they have to start thinking about it. He's not the only one struggling. Jesse Winker doesn't have an extra base hit yet this season. Wow. He's hitting 152. He's slugging 152. He's drawn a bunch of walks.
Right.
Suarez is hitting 182, but at least he's hitting for power. Kelnick, we've talked about his struggles. Abraham Toro is hitting 087 right now. Seattle's a struggle. I really think there's a universal struggle thing going on here too.
It seems that it really seems that way. I mean, like we said, when you flip the box scores, there are a ton of guys hitting the low ones too.
And I think weather has a part of that too.
Yeah.
Not only was it a shortened spring training, but they were getting it in ideal weather conditions for the most part. We had some windy days, but they weren't playing in cold. They weren't playing, they weren't going through the throes of travel, and it's just different.
Jeff, who got a hit today though?
Scott, tell me.
Victor Robles now is on the board, hitting. He's now at 048.
You said that with a little too much glee.
Dude cannot hit. I'm sorry, he cannot hit.
I know that.
He's fast.
I'm not his patron, so
he's fast. He can play. I laughed because I looked up and I was looking at the guys hitting. Carson Kelly doesn't have a hit yet, by the way.
Your cleanup hitting DH today? Yeah.
Did he get one today? Oh, he got one today. So he's now at 045. Sorry. He's now 1 for 20. I mean, they're amazing that we always get one or two guys like that. They're an amazing number of guys that were had no hits coming into today. I think Austin Hedges is over the season too.
But Carson Kelly, so check this out. And I kind of like Carson Kelly, I think he's fine. I think he'll be fine. But Arizona knew what he was off to this year. Gave him a day at DH. Instead of just giving him a day off, they had him bat as the DH and batted him 3rd in the lineup. How surreal is that?
It's amazing.
But Dalton Varsho's not hitting.
No,
he's at 185. Pavin Smith's not hitting. Christian Walker's not hitting. This is such a bad lineup. Oh, well, keep in mind, I mean, they were 0 for against starting pitchers for the first 2 games of the season against Yu Darvish and then Manaea. So this is not a total shocker that they struggle.
Eddie Rosario plays the outfield. He, position where you don't usually get a lot of errors. He has 3 times more errors than hits already.
That's not good. Is it 6-2 or 3-1?
3-1.
Okay.
He's
6 errors would be really bad.
He's 1 for 33, Jeff. What are we doing here? He's got no extra base hits, no RBIs, and 2 runs scored.
Yeah. Not so easy, Eddie.
That's a brutal stretch. Even if he's gonna have to get hot to get that back for a while. That's gonna be a bad average for a while.
Yeah. Well, and again, and Alex Dickerson's hitting 050, so that's your pivot right now, and so that doesn't help. Dansby Swanson, I got a lot of Dansby Swanson, and he's not hitting right now either.
It's funny. We talk about the rookies that are struggling. CJ Abrams is in under 100.
It's tough.
I think
tough out there,
and I think that's a. Oh, it's actually at 115 now. He had a hit today, but it's bad when you go 1 for 4 and your average goes up by 40 points. But I think that's one that they could flip down and send him down pretty quick too. I don't think the leash is very long there, to be honest.
I agree.
You see Fernando? He's fallen his wrist in warm-ups playing soccer today.
Jesus, no.
He was just joking around playing 2-on-2 soccer in the outfield at Petco and tried to step over the ball and stepped on it and fell right in his hand.
Oh no! I hope he's all right.
Yeah, he seemed fine. He was laughing about it, but can we get the guy in bubble wrap? The poor guy can't catch a break.
Yeah.
We've gone a little bit long here, but a couple guys I want to ask you before we get out of here. Sia Suzuki, we talked about preseason, like, it's hard to know exactly what you're going to get, but the numbers coming over were really good. He was clearly an elite hitter in his league. Has been an elite hitter so far. We're talking about guys struggling. Suzuki is not one of those. He's at 400, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, 25% barrel rate, 44% hard hit rate. I get we're early, but hitting the ball hard consistently. Swing strike rates under 5%. Jeff, pretty impressive. I did not see that coming.
He just doesn't chase bad pitches.
He doesn't. It's wild. And you look at it, he just really doesn't.
So good.
He's looking like a guy that if you got him in the 10th, 11th round is really prime property right now.
Yeah. 9 walks, 9 Ks going into Sunday's game. Yeah. God, you love seeing that. Slugging 960. Slugging. Not OPS, but slugging is 960. Damn. Yeah. That's fun. Team fun. Well, and the funny thing is he got a day off too. It's like, why? Stop. Don't do that. Let him play every day. He didn't play. He didn't start Friday. He did draw a walk and made an out. So,
and that was not only that, but that was in Coors too.
Yeah, I know. Why would you do that to me?
Do not give me a day off in Coors, but he's been fun. You mentioned Coors, CJ Crones, 5 home runs already, and he's kind of one of those guys that he seems to always start a little bit slow and then get hot. If he starts hot, it could be a huge home run season for him. So going well there. So I know we talk about a lot of negativity, but there's been a lot of guys struggling. There are some guys hitting. Miles Straw has 4 stolen bases already, but no home runs, 1 RBI, kind of doing what we expect him to do. But there are some good stories there. Last guy I want to ask you about. Carlos Carrasco in New York, pitching 2 starts, ERA and WHIP under 1. Velocity's down a little bit, but still throwing 93, 13 strikeouts, 2 walks. Do you feel a little bit better about him being back than you would maybe a week or 2 ago?
Sure. That's a good story. It's a feel-good story. With Carrasco, it's just he was hurt all season last year. Even when he was pitching, it was like he was coming back, and that's funny. The thing you got
I looked at him and I liked the price. I just kind of threw out last year. I think that he was so late that there's nothing if he's bad again, but I think that you just kind of throw out. That was just a year where he was never, like you said, he was never fully right.
Yeah. And so if you took the chance on him, kudos. You've gotten some value out of that so far.
Before we jump out of here, I got a question in the chat for you. Will Buxton play any games this week or should I sit him?
I think you sit him. We know he's not going to play. And remember, they play 8 a.m. Best Coast time tomorrow, 11 a.m. East Coast.
Yeah.
He's not going to play that. They said he's going to make the trip to Kansas City. You could miss out on 5 games or so, but you could also not get any games from him this week anyhow. My conservative nature is that I would sit him, but I also don't have him. So that's your decision to make, not mine.
I think I would too. If I'm in a weekly league where you got to decide the whole week tomorrow morning, I'd love to argue my league that we should do bi-weekly moves because I love that rule. But I'd sit him in the first half of the week for an FBC for sure, and then a weekly league. It's a tougher call. I think I probably with the 8 a.m. start, I probably got to do it unless I'm in a deep league where my option is really, really bad. If I'm in a 12 team, I think I'm sitting this week and figuring that I have a 6th outfielder that can kind of fill the void pretty well.
Right. Well, the mealy mouth response is it depends on your alternatives, right?
Of course.
So it depends on your alternatives. If you're in a 10 teamer, you can probably find someone you can slide in pretty easily.
Right.
If you're in a 15 teamer, it's going to be borderline. If you're in an AL only, you roll the bones.
Yeah. Jeff, I got to ask, your main events team still doing pretty well?
Yeah.
I know you guys had a really hot start. Obviously, it doesn't mean much after 10 days, but better than having a bad start.
True.
Yes.
So it's fine. The Hector Neris fiasco aside, the fact that we don't have any saves on that team may not for a while, and we'll see it. Hopefully, between the 2 Royals guys,
is it actually 0? Barlow had 1 or 2, right?
I don't think he had a save yet. I think he just
had one early for some
reason. He got
the
win on opening day.
Oh, that's right. It was the win on opening day. That's right.
The 2-inning win, which, that's nice, but
yeah,
I kind of need the saves too. In fact, it's not, yes, getting a win beats getting a hold, which counts you exactly 0.
So are you throwing both guys this week?
Probably. We lost Sonny Gray in Ryu in that league.
Oh yeah.
Gonsolin went very short. I could bench him very easily.
It was good it was a good 4 innings though. Maybe he ramps up.
He ran up the pitch count pretty high.
Yeah, he did. It's what he does though. We always talk about how he goes so short, but it's always like 4 innings, 78 pitches. And you're like, well, it's kind of your fault then.
Yeah. Oh, well, and Charlie Steiner is even like, you look at the box score, 4 innings, didn't give up that many hits, or but you watch the game and you can see he was laboring.
Yeah.
And you hate hearing that. So yeah, it looks like we'll have room at the end to play both relievers. For now, yeah. I mean, I can't. This is not a viable solution to run both of them out there every week, but I'm hoping that at some point it evolves to like it did the second half, like the last 2 months of the season where Barlow was clearly the guy.
Yeah. You hope someone kind of separates themselves, or maybe there's a tweak where someone's out for a week and the other guy takes over, and you just kind of hope it kind of works itself out, and it oftentimes does.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened in Toronto. Jordan Romano has 6 saves, so
and they have 6 wins. It's it's fun when it works out like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to thank everybody from the chat. We had a lot of people asking questions, a lot of people saying thanks, and they're enjoying the show and enjoying the live stream. So I really appreciate that. Always love to see anybody that jumps on this late hour. I know it's late that we jump on Sunday nights. We got to do it, after FAAB and schedule and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate everybody jumping in there. Jeff, anything else you want to share before we get out of here?
Just the last question is asked about Will Crow. He got like a 3-inning save. It wasn't a traditional save. He is pitching well. I'll give him credit for that. 0.72 ERA. He's doing multi-inning things, and that's good for him, but it's tough to invest in that fantasy-wise. Bednar's the guy.
I still want, if I want someone, it's Bednar, and I think he
and I got rid of my
He had a save on Saturday, and they seem to be kind of moving a little more towards him than Stratton. But if I'm getting some of that bullpen, Bednar's the only guy I want, I think.
Save was today and Sunday, by the way, and it was his first. And I'm cutting my Stratton shares. I'm just getting rid of them. So
yeah, I think I agree there too. So, but thanks everybody for listening to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. We always appreciate that as always. If you could please rate or review the podcast again, that'd be great. If you want to follow Jeff on Twitter, he's at Jeff_Erickson. I am at Scott Jenstad. Feel free to ask us any questions there. We're happy to talk some baseball there. Other than that, hope everybody has a great week, and go Warriors, and hope everybody has a good week. We'll talk to you next Sunday night. Take care.